So did we tried that? Okay, test kitchen with Hyper-V or VirtualBox works only when virtual machines are manually creatable on your machines, right? In your machine, if you are trying to create a virtual box or a virtual machine, and if it is not working, chef cannot create, right? So you have to also check for why it is not working. If kitchen is failing, there could be the reason saying that whatever hypervisor which you are using, it might not be able to create it manually, or you might not have configured Vagrant correctly, right? Okay. Now what we'll do is, let me quickly write this cookbook has to be corrected. I know that. Okay. Let me also parallelly try something. Okay. On AWS cloud as well, so that we know both the configurations, and then we can come back at any time and correct this stuff. So for that, what I'll try to do is, I want to generate one more cookbook. I'm calling this as Java deployment. Okay. Or var deploy. Okay. So the whole reason of for me writing this cookbook is I will take a var, and then I'll try to deploy that var into some Tomcat. Yeah, this is the whole intention. But initially, when I configure, I'll be writing just one line: app to get update, because I want to text it on a Ubuntu, and then I'll configure kitchen for AWS. And once that machine is up, then I'll try to proceed with the other code. If one line executes, the whole cookbook executes. That's how we have to look at kitchen. I'll start with very simple statement. I'm generating a cookbook called as var deploy. The intention of this cookbook is, okay, as of now, this cookbook will install some Tomcat version, right? And then it will try to take a var file, okay, and it will try to deploy into Tomcat. Okay, so now let us look at the manual steps first when we try to do all of this. But for now, my intention is not this. Just apt-get update is my command. I want to create a test setup in AWS. That's a major intention. Then I'll come back to this. We will drill into the steps. We will do the exercise like what we have done for the LAMP stack. We will write down the manual steps. For each manual step, we'll try to convert into a chef resource, and then we will see if there is any optimization which we can do, and then we'll optimize our stuff, and then we'll upload the cookbook to the server. Making sense? Right? Okay. Installing Tomcat. Let me do it on 14. It has been too many days when I did something on 14. This stuff I'll not do it. I want to go with apt-get first, because we'll never be installing Tomcat. Just in next class, we'll when we want to do the standard installation, we'll go to something called a supermarket. So that's why I'm not interested in that procedural steps and all of that. I would try to take which is simpler. Yeah, this looks simpler, right? So this is what I am going to do with respect to Tomcat, but for now, it's absolutely fine. So cd var deploy, and then open Visual Studio Code from here. Do I have kitchen.yml over here? Yes. Just I'll write only one line over here, which is a very simple line, which says apt update, and I think we have been using this. Okay. And I want to do this. That's it. This is the only step which I want to, but I want to run it on a AWS kind of a setup. Right. Now let me get into the kitchen. And when I get into the kitchen, my driver is no longer going to be Vagrant because I am interested in creating this test kitchen in my AWS machine. Right. So test kitchen AWS, or to be more specific, EC2 setup. So for this, we need to do some other things. Remember in the last class when I said that I want you to create IAM user and all of that stuff. Okay. So first thing is I need to get secret key and access key, and I need to execute after installing AWS CLI, I need to execute the AWS configure command, right? And I need to get through this. So this is the whole intent. Okay. Now let us do that drill. Let me just first get into the AWS. I want to use a Mumbai location or any other location because let our Oregon location, let it be for the actual nodes. For testing, I want to use Mumbai, right? So first thing which you need to know is I need to have an IAM user. So I'll go to the IAM. We have created the user called as test kitchen already, but I want security credentials. So you might have it or you might not have it. So I'm deleting whatever I have and I'm creating a new set of access key and secret key. You got this access key, right? So go to the PowerShell wherever you are, and after you install AWS CLI, you can execute this command called as AWS configure. Yeah, just copy your access key ID over here, and then you need to copy your secret access key over here. Yeah, region you can put it to whatever it is, but if you want yourself to tune to Mumbai from CLI, you can put it as AP-South-1 over here. So for the people who are not understanding what are these, those are called as region codes. For every region, Amazon has a code. Oregon's code is US West 2, Mumbai's code is AP South 1, and you can easily Google for that. Okay, I am not changing any of this. So first thing is now my kitchen can speak with AWS when I configure this. Right? If you don't configure this, whenever you try to run kitchen, it will tell that I am unable to authenticate because I don't know who you are. Am I clear? In AWS account, whenever you are logging, you are giving email and password, right? But kitchen doesn't use your email and password. It uses the secret key and access key to get into AWS. Wonderful. Okay. So the first part is done. We have an access key and a secret key. And now there are many things which we need to make a note of. And for that, let me not try to remember anything. Just say that kitchen EC2. You will be taken to this page. Okay. Just like how we have gone into the kitchen Vagrant and we have seen what is the section and then we have filled the values, we'll be doing the same thing. So scroll down. He tries to tell that your driver name is EC2. So that's the first thing which I'm going to change. My driver name is no longer. Okay. And now you will have all the different fields which it will try to explain, saying that you can use this, you can use the following platforms and all of that. So the platform which I said I am interested in as of now is Ubuntu 14.04, and I am really not looking out for any other platform. If I want, I'll enable the other platforms as well, but initially I'll start with one platform. Okay, good. Now come back over here. You scroll it down, you'll be seeing different things, right? So if you want to give a specific image, you can go and search for the image ID and then get it. I'll not let you all of the trouble. Just scroll down. Okay. You will be seeing a sample YML file, and we'll be almost filling at exactly the same thing. All right. So SSH key ID and this SSH key, if you want to use the existing keys, you can use that, or don't enter both of them. Kitchen will create one key on its own and it will log in on its own. So since this is a test setup, I don't want an existing key. I am okay with test kitchen using its own key. So I'm not going to enter either this or, okay. So I'll start from here. Security group IDs. Okay. So for the kitchen machine which you are trying to create, what is your security group? Generally, whenever we create a EC2 machine, we give a security group, right? Here you have to give the ID of it. And you can give multiple security groups, so that's why it is an array. Now let us get into the AWS. So come to the EC2. Where are security groups? Yes. Okay. And there are many security groups over here. And if you see, I'll be going with default security group over here. You can take anything. But remember, your security group and your network has to match. For you will not have a trouble because you have only one network, right? So what is the security group ID over here? Copy this. So you have to give ID, not a name. Okay. So that is done. Now let me come back to the stuff. So what is trying to tell? What is your region? Okay. I'll try to tell that my region, since I'm using Mumbai, is AP-South-1. And then availability zone. Okay. A and B, we have two availability zones. I'll be using A. Okay. You can use anything, right? Require chef omnibus. Yes, you do require that. And then subnet ID. I need to tell in which subnetwork do I need to create this EC2 machine. So for that, let me get into the VPC. Okay. And get into subnets. Okay. And you can take any of the subnet IDs, right? And if you see, this is AP South 1B. This is what we are looking for. So what is the subnet ID over here? Copy this. Oh. Copy from here, better. So now I can answer questions only when I finish this. Please bear with me on that because I can't stop in between. Okay. And then IAM profile name. This for you, whenever you go with default, is not required. But for the people who learn AWS, we can configure multiple CLIs in AWS, multiple authentications. So for example, you have configured more than one user in your AWS configuration, then you can tell what is your profile name. So in our case, I'm not going to fill this. Okay. Now let me get into the instance type. And we all know what is the instance type which we use. What is it? There is no need for you to put in quotes in YAML file. Even if you don't put, nothing is going to harm you. Okay. So let me come down over here. Associate public IP true. And if you are not understanding how am I filling these values, for everything which you see, there is a description over here. You can go there and just check. So for example, what is that? Interface, right? That is what he's trying to fill. If you see interface, he tries to tell that this is how interface works, right? And you can give the possibly the values DNS, public, private, or private DNS. You can give any of these, right? Even if you don't give this, it will try to do the following. Okay. I am not giving interface because it says that is. So you have to go for every YML section, look into the documentation and see what are the possible values and how do you fill them. Am I clear on this? Yeah. Okay. And now let me come down. So there is some section which is called as transport, and I'm copying all of this. Okay. Transport, and I'm not interested in key. And for the Ubuntu machine, the username is Ubuntu, right? Yeah. Okay. Good. Now, what are the platforms which you are looking at? I'm looking at Ubuntu 14. If you want to be very specific about an image, what you can do is you can click on, where is my EC2? Instances. Say that I want to launch an instance. Over here, you will find Ubuntu 14. Yes or no? Where is Ubuntu 14, by the way? I'm not finding it, or whatever it is. I'll take Ubuntu 16 in this case. Are you seeing this ID? Yes. You can basically copy with this also, or you can use a platform like Ubuntu 16, but in this case, Kitchen will try to search for you. If you don't want Kitchen to be searching for it, just say this. And over here, you can say that I am very specific about my image because I know my ID. You can say that I would be writing a driver and image hyphen ID, and my image ID is this. In this case, what is happening is you are specifically selecting what is the image which you want. If you don't try it also, Amazon will try it, or Kitchen will try to search for the images and try to find you an image for the platform. Okay. And that's what it tries to tell when you look at this documentation. When you look at the top, it tries to tell that you can use a platform. Oh, come. Oh, a bit more. Yes. So this is what I do. If you are using a platform name which starts with Ubuntu, Windows, RHEL, Debian, CentOS, FreeBSD, or Fedora, Kitchen EC2 will search it for you. If you don't want to get into all of this mess, put any name and give the image ID. All right. The choice is yours, and both are going to work. Okay. And now let us scroll to the last part. So, have we done enough? I think so. Okay. I'll not take questions right now. Let me finish this aspect. Pardon me. Okay. I have used availabilities on. Okay. Okay. Let me. Done. Yeah. Thanks. Okay. So you are not designing anything. You are just taking the structure. You are searching the values and you are filling it in it. Okay. So yesterday we have filled the values for Vagrant and Hyper-V combination. Today you are filling in the values for AWS. You can create the environments in Azure, you can create the environments in Docker, you can create environments a whole lot of different places. But Vagrant is most widely used and AWS is second largely used. So that's why I'm using these two. But even if you want to create other environments, you can basically Google for something called as kitchen drivers, or to be very specific, test kitchen drivers. You get into over here. So what he's trying to tell us, if you install Chef DK, you get Kitchen Vagrant driver with that, Kitchen EC2, Kitchen DigitalOcean, Kitchen Docker, Kitchen Google, Kitchen Hyper-V, and Kitchen Azure RM. So these are all already installed. There is no need for you to install anything. But apart from that, if you want, you can go with these things also. Kitchen Docker, Kitchen OpenStack, and Kitchen Terraform. And these are community stuff. You might need to do an extra installation. But if you have Chef DK, you can create environments in Vagrant, EC2, Google Cloud, and Azure. And that is fairly more than enough than what we require. And apart from these, there are many other third-party kind of drivers where you can go to almost any environment. Right? Okay. So let me come back with the drill. So what is it I have done? We have decided that I want to go to the EC2 machine. I have found out what is the YAML structure. I have taken that YAML structure. I have might not have read the documentation because I know it. For you, that will not be the story. So in the kitchen EC2 driver, for every point or every YAML which you are seeing over there, there is enough description. And I want you to understand what everything does. And look at that and fill in whatever makes sense to you. So I thought that I wanted to create Ubuntu 14, but I realized that Ubuntu 14 was not showing up, but I am okay with that. I've tried to create Ubuntu 16 machine, right? So for me, this is the stuff. And when you come to this structure over here, there are multiple keys over here. You just see that AWS SSH key ID and there is SSH key, and I'm not passing them, right? I'm not passing them because I have read the documentation. If you don't pass them, AWS kitchen will create it for you, right? If I want to use my own keys, then I will pass those details. So this is something which you get to know by either experimenting or reading the documentation. If you don't read the documentation and try to understand these kind of things, it is not going to happen because there are 1001 combinations in that. Am I clear on this? So we need to get IDs over here, not names. That's the first difficulty. For example, if you are taking image, I need to know what is the image ID of Ubuntu machine. Till now, we were just giving the names, but I need to get IDs. Security group, not by name, by IDs. Subnet, not by name, by IDs. So everything which you do in this, you go with IDs, right? Now, if everything goes fine, what we'll do is we'll execute one simple statement, which is called as kitchen list. And we know what this kitchen list does. It will verify your .kitchen.yaml and it will try to tell at least descriptively what is that you are trying to do. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Okay. And one thing I think will change. In the last class, we have tried Chef Zoro, Chef Zero, right? Let us see if we can use Chef Solo over here by any chance. I think we have a previous example where we use Chef Solo. Let me go to it. Or there is some documentation which we have prepared. So for the people who have, how do I run the stuff? This is the documentation. You go to the blog. It is already written by some person over here. He's also using Chef Zero. Let me not violate it. Okay. But you can use Chef Solo also over there. So there are 3 different things which you can use over there. Okay then. So I'm good with this. So shall I start doing the activity now? What would be my activity? First thing which I need to check is what is the run list doing over here? Do we see something called as run list? Yes. And what is run list pointing to? Default. Do I have something in default? Yes. Yeah. So did we got to know the connection? So here you will have run list, and whatever is there in the run list will be tried to be executed by the kitchen, right? If you want to run some other file, not default, so then change this to default to something. Yeah, that's how it operates. Now let me just say kitchen converge, right? And if you want low level detail, you can use -l and debug. For any failure which you are going to get, please use this -l debug. And even if you are a success, I don't mind using this, because once you go through this debug files, it will be too many lines, but you will understand what Chef will do. So what Chef does is, first it will speak with AWS. Okay. And for speaking with AWS, it uses the AWS SDK for Ruby, because Chef is a Ruby program, right? So it does that. It will create your virtual machine, and once it creates the virtual machine, it will log in. And then we said that we wanted to install, we wanted to use chef 0, so it will try to install chef 0, then it will copy your cookbook into the other machine, and then it will execute the sudo chef client. That's what it does. So this is a whole set of steps, but for you to understand, it would be better if you read through the steps. And if you use -l debug, you will get detailed level of logs. If you don't use that, you will be getting only information and error logs. Right? Debug is more on the elaborate side of the things. Right? Even whenever you're running in Office, there is no need for you to run debug stuff. You will just run it on the info wise. But whenever you come across errors, you need to go with debug mode, because that is where you will be more descriptive about your errors. So let me click on, and whenever you start running this in debug mode, you will be seeing a folder called as .kitchen, right? And in .kitchen, you will be seeing these files, okay? And this is where you will end up seeing the logs. Am I clear on this? Yeah, fine. Now, while it is doing its job, let me look at questions. I am not able to connect to audio. IAM use any way to any AWS machine to the procedure is same. So is it IAM or you are speaking about IAM? Okay, but IAM uses internally a API call, and for that it needs to know your secret key and access key. That's how it operates, right? But if you are on a different version, basically what happens is the way you install AWS SDK might change, or AWS CLI might change, because if you are using Linux or Mac, you might have a direct, or Windows or Mac, we might have a direct installation. But if you are using Ubuntu, probably you might need to execute some apt or yum commands, install Python, and then from the Python install some pip package and all of that stuff. The way you install is different, but AWS CLI is a Python program, right? So that's how it operates. And now Chef Zero and Chef Solo. Basically, I'll come to that, but as of now, treat both as same. They both are the programs which are used to install Chef Cookbook on one server. You have only one machine to set up. That machine is your server, and that the same machine is your node. In that case, we will go to Chef Solo or Chef Zero. Exactly the differences are with respect to in-memory and not in-memory capabilities. We'll come back to that later. Let us worry about kitchen right now. Yeah. Okay. So it says it is finished. So is it simple? Now let me go to the AWS. Are you seeing a machine over here? Yes, this is a machine which kitchen has created for you. And now, if you want to log in into this machine, better go with, as I said, login is something which Git Bash can do. PowerShell is not so good at doing that. Okay. Kitchen, login. Whenever you have more than one platform, you have to give the platform's name. So, for example, you have 3 platforms over there: CentOS, Red Hat, and Ubuntu. Then you have to say kitchen login CentOS 7, or default hyphen CentOS 7, default hyphen Ubuntu 16. That's what you need to get. Okay, let us take whatever time it takes. Fine. Now what I'll do is I'll go to this. Okay. And then I want to install Tomcat 7, right? Okay. So package, it might fail because I have never run these instructions on 16. Those are 14 instructions. It might work or it might fail. I'm not interested. Let me try to execute that first. So this is what I want. And then whenever you get it, you get a service called as Tomcat 7 action start. And I want to notify this. So notifies. Is there something strange which I'm doing? No, right? Enable service of Tomcat 7. Okay. So I've made some changes to my cookbook now. Okay. Let us see whether we have logged in successfully or not. 22 port. Oh, strange. Okay. But if you look at the logs, you will see some place where it has created the PEM file. Pardon me? समझा नहीं मैं. अच्छा अच्छा अच्छा, मैं लैम्प के पास में हूँ. Okay. So CD, what was that? Var deploy, right? Yeah, you are right. I have messed up. Kitchen login. But if you go through that verbose logs, right, it will have created the PEM file, and it might have created the PEM file at certain location. So let me search for star.pem. Are you seeing? So basically it has created the default Ubuntu PEM and it has stored in .kitchen default. So this is the PEM file which it has created. Even if you want to log in manually into that, you can use that path. Okay, fine. Okay, once let me log in into that, I'll update those changes and then we'll get into the kitchen converge again, because now I have updated my cookbook and I'm converging again. Yeah, am I inside the machine? So there is no need for you to even know what is the key, what is the stuff. You just need to know what is the username, because that is what you try to tell to kitchen. And whenever you do kitchen login will internally construct an SSH command for you and it will execute for you. Okay, so just cross check whether it works in PowerShell in the case of AWS. In the case of Hyper Vagrant, no, it will not work. Okay, fine. Now I've done the changes, right? So I'll execute the same command again, kitchen converge debug. So this time apt update is done, and after that I have done something and I want to check whether it is working or not. How can I use execute resource many times in cookbooks? What do you mean by many times? How can you determine what is many? Is it deterministic or undeterministic? If it is undeterministic, what will tell you when do I need to do that execution? So there should be some logic around it, right? I cannot just say that I want to execute it 1,000 times now and 100 times tomorrow. Now, what is determining that 100 or 1,000? If you tell me that, I can tell you how to execute it multiple times. More than 2 times. So you might have some logic around it, right? Yes or no? So that more than 2 could be your number in your, or let us assume that you get to say that this number, okay, for example, something like 4 or 5 is a number which you can get out of your logic. Then use a while loop and increment the counts, or use a for loop for int I and all of that, right? So if that is not the case, if you want to execute it 2 or 3 times is something dynamic, then you need to tell what is the logic around it. I cannot ad hocly tell that use this for that. If you tell me what is the business stuff for it, for example, service restart, we have used it many times, if you remember. So for that we have solved that problem using notifies. So based out of your Linux steps, I can tell you what is the solution, not just on an ad hoc note. Yeah, okay. Hey, you can absolutely do. Then put all of your commands in an array and iterate the commands. For example, you would write something like, I have 10 commands. So go to your attribute section, just say commands is equal to something like this. Commands equal to, okay, something like apt update, right? And then apt search, something, anything, any nonsense. You just put all of your commands in this array and write a each statement around it. For every command, I am going to execute this stuff. That's how you have to. Right. So there should be some concrete logic around it. We cannot ad hocly tell. So if you say tell that is how it has to be, then it will work out. Okay. I have deleted the key value pairs in AWS and tried importing. It doesn't work. Popping an error, looks like I messed up. What do I need to do? Delete your AWS machines now. It doesn't make sense. You cannot recover your keys. Try creating the new key pairs and then start using them. Deleting key value pairs and recovering them is impossible task. It doesn't happen. If it happens, that is a security breach in Amazon. So it will never happen. Yeah, that's how you have to. Okay. Okay. So is it looking better now? So we have installed Tomcat and seems like Tomcat is working in that. Okay. Now shall we try to log in into that machine and see what is happening there? Yes. Kitchen. Log. Is this simple, or uploading the cookbook and then doing sudo chef client is simple? Now you tell me. So that's why I want you to use this. Once you know that your cookbook is working, then we can upload only the right version to the chef server. And if you want to try or test your cookbook in different platforms, you can absolutely do that. Because the only thing which you have to do is add one more platform and say that I have written my cookbook and it should work on Red Hat as well. That's it. Okay. Now, once we log in into that, we will look at that Linux steps for Tomcat, and then we'll try to build our cookbook. Okay. And one more thing which I'll want to look at is, yeah, for every command, we will find a resource. That's what we do, right? But there are certain commands where you cannot find resources. Sudo service Tomcat 7 status. Yeah, running good. So Java hyphen version. Wonderful. So now let me go back to where was it? This one. This is what we have done, right? Yeah, but we have written all of this stuff. First thing is in default.rb, and I don't think so it is a good idea to write everything in default.rb, right? So let us first try to refactor that stuff. So what will I do is chef generate recipe in my current cookbook, and the recipe's name is Tomcat 7. Because I'm doing Tomcat 7 installation, I want to be explicit about it. Okay. Because Tomcat 8 doesn't fall under the same category. We have to do it differently. So that's why I'm not trying to write a same recipe for Tomcat 7 and Tomcat 8. In the future, if I want to work on a different version of it. Okay. Okay, it has done it. Wonderful. And then I might need attributes, right? So chef generate attribute in the current cookbook, and the name of my attribute is default. Okay, let it do its job. And the first thing which I'm going to do is I'm going to move all of this stuff into Tomcat 7.rb. Okay, and whenever you are doing this activity, right, there you can write this cookbook is designed based out of, okay, documentation at, we know where we are designing this, because tomorrow if something goes wrong, you can always come back to this page and see why it is not working, right? So even if some person is referring to this cookbook and you are not available, he can understand why you have written your steps like this. So that's the reason why I want you to be very explicit whenever you're using this stuff, right? Okay, now we have done this, and from default, do I need to call this? Yes. So how do I do that? Include recipe, and then what is my cookbook name? Var deploy ---- Tomcat 7. Even if you write Tomcat 7, it will work. But the problem is always use this convention, because even if some other cookbook has a name called as Tomcat 7, you will never fail a problem if you use this convention. Cookbook name ::, recipes name. Right. Now, let me go back to this documentation. What is he trying to tell now? He's trying to tell me now that you will have a file called as etc default Tomcat 7, and in there you will have some line which looks like this. And in there you have to change this value to 512M and 256M. Man, this is something which I have never heard of. So let me just look into what that is. So what is that we have to do now? We have to modify the existing file with some of our content. Okay. We need to see how that file looks like first of all before we modify it. So that's why I'm trying to log into that machine, get into that path etc default Tomcat 7 and see what is in there. So cat etc default Tomcat 7. So this is the whole file. Yes. So what I'll do is cat etc default Tomcat 7. I don't want to mess with this file, and then I will redirect that to Tomcat 7 over here. Do I have Tomcat 7 now? Yes. I want to use this file. I want to download this file into my local machine. I have to use SCP. Okay. But for SCP, I cannot use take kitchen's help. I have to go with the pure Linux way. Okay. So what is the command for logging in into this machine? Something like this. Yeah. Okay. Now this is a lamp, right? Now let me get into var deploy, and he says in kitchen, where is it? This is what it is, right? Default Ubuntu 14.pem. Open your git bash over here, insert this. I don't want to do all of this, but I will try to tell that. What is it? Default. Let me see whether it logs in or not. Is it logging in? Yes. Now this is a SCP command, SSH command. SSH command is SSH username @ IP address. Very simple command, right? And then it will ask for a password. But in the case of Amazon, we don't have a password. We have a key file. So that's why we'll pass SSH -i, and then wherever your key file is, the path to that key file, PEM files path. All right. Now, basically, if I want to do SCP is also very simple. SCP is SCP source and target. So if it is local machine, you can use dot or your local folder paths. But if it is a remote machine, then your source or target might look like username @ IP address : path of the file or directory which you are looking out for. Yeah. So my command will look like SCP -i, whatever the identity file is, and my source is what? Linux machine, and the destination is my Windows machine. So what I'll try to do is I'll just try to tell whatever the username of that machine is, Ubuntu @ whatever name of that machine is, : and I have a file in Tomcat 7 which is home Ubuntu / Tomcat 7, and I want to copy that over here. Simple. So that I'll get my Tomcat 7 file in my local system. Shall I try this? Okay, good. Now what I'll do is I'll just execute the same command. Okay, sh minus I colon home Ubuntu Tomcat 7, and I want Tomcat 7 to be copied over here. ఏ మిస్ చేశాను SCP. Okay, it is SCP, not SH. Yes, thanks. So if you see ls, I have a Tomcat file now, Tomcat 7 file, and now I can, since I have this file in Windows, I can open and see what is that I have to change. Okay, now let me copy or edit this Tomcat 7 file in Notepad. It says that these are the Tomcat 7 details. Okay, and over here what he tries to tell me, if I go to the documentation, is okay, find the Java ops line and feel free to change XMX value. So let me see if I have something called as XMX. Am I having any XMX value over here? So what he's trying to tell is, if you want to use this XMX, okay, where is it? Over here, you have to change that XMX value to 512M and max perm size to 256M. So is there already a line for that? Yes. So what I'll do is, I'll add this stuff. So why are we doing this? This is Tomcat's memory configuration. Okay. So this is a change which I want to basically make. So this is 512M, right? Yeah. Wonderful. Now, is this the same change which you always want or not? That is the question. So whenever I deploy my application, my XMX value is going to be 512 and my perm size is going to be 256M. So if that is a static configuration, then we copy the file statically. No, if that is not the case, today it is 512, tomorrow it might become 1 MB or 1024 over there or 2048 over there. These values are supposed to change. Then we have to look out at a different solution. As of now, my assumption is this is a static file, right? We don't have any dynamic values to be passed as of now. So what is it I need to do? I need to copy this file from the chef cookbook to node. So in that case, what I'll do is chef generate file. Any file which you want to copy from your cookbook to the node is called as cookbook file. I'm creating a file, okay, in this cookbook, in the current cookbook, and the name of the file is whatever the file name which we have, Tomcat 7. Okay, this is when you want to copy static files. మీ దగ్గర ఒక ఫైల్ ఉంది, ఆ ఫైల్ మారదు, అది కుక్బుక్ లో ఉంది, దాన్ని నోడ్ లో కాపీ చేయాలి, right? So if that is the case, you use this file convention. The other reason, the other way could be, you have this file somewhere on the internet and you want to download it and post it over there. We will go to that scenario later. Or the other way is, you are creating a new file and you copy the content to it. So these are the three possible ways, right? And I'm speaking about static files. Now let us see what happens in here. Are you seeing by any chance a new folder called as files? And in that, are you seeing Tomcat 7? Yes. Now you blindly go over here, copy all of this content and paste it over here. Simple. And now what we have to do is, we have to tell basically a way so that I will copy this file into etc default Tomcat 7. So for that reason, in chef we have a resource called as cookbook underscore file. See what he tries to tell. Cookbook underscore file. This is how you will do it. Okay. Now let me come back, and he tries to tell that cookbook underscore file name. Okay. And path defaults to name. Okay. And then if you scroll down over here, okay, he would try to tell you this is the location where you want to copy the file to. So in our case, we want to copy the file to etc default Tomcat 7. And then source, where you have this file. Source is this defaults folder. In this default folder, what is your file's name? So source is this default. Okay. In files, in cookbook files, the default is the source location. And if you want to give any path, you have to give the path underlying this. So I'll be writing something like cookbook underscore file, and the path is etc default Tomcat 7. And what is my source file's name? Tomcat 7. I am not interested into all of this stuff. Yeah, simple. Whenever you want to copy the files, just say chef create file, and then basically whenever you want to copy that file into any of these machines, you have to basically do this. Okay, now let me go back to this documentation and see what he tries to tell. He tries to tell what is that you need to do now. So how do I do that? Do I need to write a service again, or can I do notification? So I'll say notifies colon restart, and then on service of simple. Yeah, okay. And then he's asking me to install additional packages. Tomcat 7 docs, Tomcat 7. So I'll copy all of this. So what is that I'll do? I'll go to the attribute section. I'll just say default of what is this cookbook name? Var deploy, and then additional is equal to it is very simple to put something around any string. Just select all of that and type whatever you want. Okay, so did we done it? Yes. And now what is the problem over here? That's fine. Okay, it is not an error. Now I want to use this. Okay, so we know how to use that stuff, right? So package, right? And then if I have one package, I can use directly the name, right? So but this time let me directly use array over here. Let us see what happens. You can use each statement. If you are confused with whatever I'm trying to do, you can use each statement, and I'm quite sure that we have learned already how to write a each statement. You can assign this variable to the package names, packages.each, package do, package name do install, whatever we have done it earlier. Okay, and after you install packages, let us see what is the step. Okay, Java I don't want to install, right? And then he tries to us to configure the users.xml. Okay, now in the users.xml I have to change this admin and password. This will give me a way to log in, but I don't have a time to do till that point. So what I'll do is I'll just try to do till here. Make sense? Even after this, I'm restarting Tomcat. Now, what is that I need to do now? So whenever you are basically executing kitchen statements, ensure that you are logged out of all of your sessions. So let me see if I'm logged in the session. No, I am not. Over here, no. Kitchen converge -l debug. We have made changes, right? So if you see, I've created a machine, I'm making changes, and I'm updating those changes to the machine. If I see the error, I'll fix it, and then I'm continuing. So what is the chance of me writing a wrong script now? Almost zero, because you try to search all the possible combinations while you are developing itself. All right. So if I want to check this on a Red Hat machine, I would have one more platform over there, which is Red Hat 7, and I probably might have one more AMI ID. So whenever you are developing Chef, this is an advantage. This kitchen is definitely an advantage, right? Because it will ensure you that your script and you test all the possible scenarios in your local machine itself. And if you remember, in Ansible, we didn't have this flexibility. We had to run this on a node, yeah, or a test setup we need to add, which we need to maintain it separately. But over here, we don't have that problems. Is this becoming really difficult? Yeah, there is a failure. It's okay. We'll find out what it is. But the whole point is, what is the setup which we are trying to do right now? We are writing the cookbooks and we are checking it then and there itself. If you don't do this, what we try to do is you try to write 10 or 15 steps at one shot and you upload your cookbook to the server, and suddenly you see too many failures. You fix one, you upload a new version, and then you get to see the other failure. But in this case, you don't have that behavior. So ensure that you either have kitchen setup for AWS or for Vagrant, because we have to fix two errors which we are seeing. One is whatever we see in this right now, and then we had one more error in the other cookbook which is regarding nil. And from tomorrow onwards, I am not showing how to set up kitchen. I am using that because I need to move on to the next topics. Am I clear on this? Ensure you have one of them, either test kitchen with Vagrant or test kitchen with AWS. నా దగ్గర రెండు లేవండి, ఏం చేయమంటారంటే ఉన్నోళ్ళతో స్నేహం అన్నా చేయండి అట్లీస్ట్. I cannot help it out, right? Because this is something which is essentially required, because every line which you write in Chef, you can test it then and there itself. So for example, మీ cookbook file ఎలా వర్క్ అవుతుందో అర్థం అవ్వాలా. So you have a test kitchen setup, you have done something, and you log in into the machine and see whether it is behaving as per your understanding or not. For every resource which you can write, you have a test setup right now, so you can explore all the different possibilities. So for example, whenever you have looked at service statements, there are too many properties and you didn't understand how this property works. Write that property, just do kitchen converts, it will fail or it will pass, and it will tell you why it has failed also. Now if you go into these problems, you will always obviously see what is the basic problem around it. So I might have messed up somewhere. Things don't fail easily, right? So what it tries to tell, yeah, he is unable to restart Tomcat because of the memory restrictions. So making that change is dangerous. 512 MB for that means that you are giving 512 for Java itself, Tomcat itself, and we have 1 GB of RAM. So increase the machine size, it will start working. That's the basic problem around it. It's not a Chef problem, but actually it is a Linux kind of a problem, right? But whatever it is, we come to know, we get to see these issues before we go live. That's the whole idea around it. Okay, so is it looking better now? So either kitchen on Vagrant or kitchen on AWS is mandatorily required for you to continue. Okay, doesn't it require timer? Timer is required if you want to notify immediately. If I don't do it, it is delayed. Okay, it will try to map 2 or 3 service restarts and it will try to do at one shot, and I was okay with that. Okay, what is addition over there in attributes? What is addition? Okay, additional, go through the documentation, sir. That is additional packages. All right, that's the name of it. Okay, fine then.